listen, this is it. This is it. This is going to be good. You're going to like this. I want to tell you something. We're losing it. We're losing it. We're losing it. We're losing it. I don't care. You might agree with some of the issues. You might not agree with some of the issues. But let me tell you something. We're losing it. The state has consumed 6,000 acres over some mice. No, they might not really be endangered mice, but they might be kin to mice that are endangered. But that's not the point. The point is the state has taken 6,000 acres, and they haven't really taken it. They haven't bought it. They've just told you can't do anything with it. So if you're one of those lucky people who own part of that property, you're now a partner in the hundreds of millions of dollars that we're going to spend to save these mice. I'm sure that's a good thing. I'm sure that's a wonderful thing. But I'm sure that if you own any of that property over there and it's now been taken away from you and you can't use it for anything, you might not be as excited about the longevity of that mouse as you were before. We have a lot of people that want to save a lot of things. Not many of them want to save people, but we got people that want to save things, and the government participates in that. And in that participation, we lose, basically, our rights. Shell Island. You know where it is? You may have been there. There's private property on Shell Island. Ah, you say, Lee, there is no such thing as private property. And Lee responds, you're right. There is no such thing as private property. but that's supposed to be. We're pretending. People own it. People own property on Shell Island. So, some time ago, we had an opportunity to listen to an issue where people that enjoyed going to Shell Island took their dogs. I personally own a dog. Okay, I love my dog. He's fat. She's fat. But I still love her. We've been together a long time. We have a relationship. My dog and I have not been to Shell Island. But that's not really the point, is it? The point is, what if I wanted to go? Well, I can't go. Well, if I did go, I would be a criminal. Because after years and years and years and years and years of people going to Shell Island and taking their dogs, they can't do that anymore. It's always been against the law, but we've never enforced it. But one day, we decided that we would. Now, does that mean on the part of Shell Island that is private property? Or does that mean on the part of Shell Island that is public property? Silly rabbit. There is no such thing as private property. So it means all of Shell Island. If you own a lot over there and you take your dog over there, they will arrest you or write you a ticket. Why? You can't, sort of like saying that you can't have a dog in your backyard. To that end, I have a guest, Miss Somerset. You may have heard. She heads a group that is focused on that opportunity for people to enjoy their dogs over on Shell Island. And when you fight the government, congratulations, okay? Because you have a challenge before you. And she and a lot of other people have stood to here. And we're going to visit with her this morning. We're going to talk about where it started, where it is now, and where it might be in the future.
Well, Lee, thanks for having me on.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for coming.
Well, I appreciate being here, and I look forward to talking to you about what's happened. Why don't I recap?
You run.
I think a lot of people in Bay County have heard this story, but people have been taking their dogs with them, with their families, coolers, frisbees, going out to Shell Island and enjoying it for generations, right?
Right.
Everybody kind of knew, well, the state's buying up part of Shell Island. That's good, right? The government's using our tax dollars for something good finally, and they're going to preserve Shell Island for us. We like that. We know that part of Shell Island is private property. We know there's a hodgepodge. We know Tyndall owns part of it. Everybody has, it's kind of been known as the de facto place where you take your dog. And, you know, dogs make people happy. It's recreation. You get out there, you get healthy, you run around, you throw the frisbee for your dog. The kids love it. It's a family bonding experience. Well, leave it to the government to say, this was a good thing, how can we mess it up for you? And that's what they did this summer. This summer, armed policemen with black helmets, driving ATVs, ran all over that island, giving people tickets. And you probably heard they were criminal misdemeanors, second-degree criminal misdemeanors. People got parole officers. They had to appear in court. They had to write apology letters to the DEP. I will not take my dog to Shell Island. I will not take my dog to Shell Island. It was very disturbing to a lot of people. So we formed our organization, Bay Families with Dogs, and you would not believe the support we got. We got people calling us. We got people signing up on our website. People signed our petitions. We would do petition drives. People would grab it out of our hands and go, let me sign that. They were so upset because, you know, you can say, this is just about dogs, let it go. Well, you know what? At some point in time, somebody has to stand up to government and say, you pushed us too far. And that's what our group was doing.
I would be emotional about my dog. I would be emotional about my dog. But you know, the point is, what's the point? Okay, you know, where people get bit. I mean, you know, is there some outcry from the public that said this was not a good thing? I mean, what, you know. And in that context, you know, we have. I mean, people are serious about their pets, and as I said, I'm serious about mine. But the point gets to be, what happened one day that made it? They said, I heard him say it's always been against the law. But so what happened one day? What epiphany did someone have that all of a sudden you got hooked if you had your dog over there?
Right. Well, I called the park manager early in June and asked him that question. And the answer was, there was a biologist counting birds. A man's dog ran through the area. The birds flew up. She told him he couldn't have the dog there. They got in an argument. And the way it was told to me was that then this was a revenge thing. We're going to get all the dog people. Since then, the whole story got escalated because it was almost a case of trying to create a crisis where there was no crisis, because the man who was the park spokesman, the de facto park spokesman, would get on radio, he would get on the newspaper, and every time he told the story, it got worse, right? First of all, the dog chased the birds. Then dogs destroyed numerous nests, and dog footprints were found near nests. And then the real whopper of all was when he told Amy Hoyt that dogs overturned numerous bird and turtle nests. Now, if you've seen a turtle nest, you do not overturn those. They're buried in the ground. So I think he kind of blew his credibility on that, and we didn't appreciate the fact that a fake crisis gets created to justify, you know, this incredible, expensive for the taxpayer crackdown at Shell Island. I mean, if you look at their records, these policemen with salary and benefits and everything cost about $100,000 a year. So we're talking, they had 2 guys patrolling. There's $200,000 a year of your taxpayer dollars, brand new ATVs, GPSs, walkie-talkies, and I don't even know how to calculate the expense of the fuel for the helicopter that they landed July 4th to look for people with dogs. So there you go.
God, why do y'all listen to me? What was this? We get a little bit of this at the border. What if we could move these people to the border? We could. I mean, think of the illegal immigrants that we could stop. I want an ATV and a helicopter over someone with a dog. We have lost it. It's the Lee Sullivan Show. Stephanie Somerset. Your rights, your property, what's left, dogs on the beach. We'll be right back.